We source three of the most searched used yachts flooding the brokerage market right now. 2019 and 2020 builds, most with under 300 hours on the engines, all listed at prices that look like genuine opportunities compared to what they sold for new. We did not just inspect them, we hauled them, pulled inspection panels, drilled access ports into void spaces, and ran moisture meters and percussion testing across every structural surface we could reach. What we found inside two of these three boats should make any serious buyer stop cold before writing a check. This is not a normal correction in the yacht market. Used yacht inventory in North America averaged 139 days on the market in 2025, up from prior years, with the 46 to 55 foot segment seeing average asking prices drop 5%. That is not a healthy market finding equilibrium. That is motivated sellers and stagnating inventory, creating a window where beautiful exterior presentations are hiding structural realities no dealer walk-around is going to show you. One of these three boats was built so well it almost does not belong in the same conversation as the others. Stay until the end, because that reveal matters. Before the boats, you need to understand why this market exists the way it does. Global yacht sales fell 9% by unit volume in 2025. Boats purchased in 2020 and 2021 on favorable financing are now sitting on brokerage docks under owners carrying costs they did not budget for. The result is an inventory pool full of boats with legitimate hours bought by owners who had no prior experience managing saltwater vessels of this size and who stored them in wet slips because dry storage at this length is expensive. 3 years of a saltwater wet slip without the maintenance discipline that demands does specific and predictable things to a yacht. We are going to show you exactly what those things look like inside out. Yacht 1, Azimut 55 Fly. Azimut is an Italian production builder with a genuinely premium exterior presentation and an interior finish that photographs exceptionally well. The fit of cabinetry, the quality of soft furnishings, and the overall aesthetics of an Azimut at a boat show are hard to argue with. The hull construction is fiberglass with balsa core in the deck and side panels, a standard production method that performs well when properly sealed and maintained. The 2019 model we sourced had 260 hours on twin Volvo Penta D6 engines and was priced at $810,000 with an original retail price just over $1.1 million. The hull bottom came back clean on moisture meter readings, consistent with the Azimut fiberglass laminate performing as designed below the waterline. Where the story changed was inside. Marine Forum documentation and hands-on experience with this generation of Azimut consistently identify the electrical system routing as the first place experienced surveyors look. On this boat, we found what multiple mechanics who have worked on Azimuts in South Florida describe as a recurring theme: subcontracted electrical work with connectors showing early green oxidation at terminal points inside the engine room, and 3 wiring runs without protective conduit in locations where bilge moisture is a known factor. This is not a catastrophic finding. It is a maintenance liability, one that, if not addressed, becomes a corrosion and reliability issue at hours no owner wants to be dealing with offshore. The Italian construction tradition for this generation has been documented in owner forums and by surveyors as occasionally creative in its system routing, prioritizing interior layout over service access to critical systems. On a platform with this level of engine room complexity, that matters. Yacht 2, the Ray L550 Fly. Ray is one of the best-known production builders in the American market, and for good reason. Their hulls use a modified deep V design with solid fiberglass below the waterline and balsa coring in the hull sides and deck structure. At moderate hours and with proper maintenance, a Ray of this era is a capable and comfortable platform. The 2020 model we sourced had 180 hours on twin Mercruiser diesels, listed at $940,000. The hull bottom was clean. The structural laminate showed no elevated moisture in the solid fiberglass sections below the waterline, which is exactly what you expect from a boat with legitimate low hours. The issues were above the waterline and in the systems. When we pulled the access panels on the forward compartment, we found what accumulated owner documentation on the Hull Truth and other credible owner forums describes as a pattern on late model Sea Rays from this production window, core deck sections around the anchor locker, and forward hardware bases showing elevated moisture readings from fasteners that were not properly rebedded after factory installation. The forward cleat bases and anchor roller mounting points read between 14% and 18%, and anything above 12% is elevated. Above 15% indicates active intrusion. The path from there is documented and consistent. Water reaches the balsa core, the core saturates over time, the fiberglass skins begin to lose adhesion to the core, and what starts as a fastener bedding oversight becomes a deck core repair event. On a 55-foot yacht, deck core work is not a minor line item. Additionally, the raw water strainer on the port engine had not been serviced, visible from the discoloration and partial blockage seen through the sight glass. An owner who has not serviced the strainer has not serviced the impeller. Budget for immediate replacement of both on any used boat of this type, regardless of what the service record claims. Yacht 3, Viking 52 convertible. Everything that created legitimate concern on the first two boats points directly at why Viking holds its value in the brokerage market. The 2019 Viking 52 convertible we sourced had 410 hours on twin-man diesel engines listed at $2,100,000 against an original retail above $2,800,000. The price gap at this level is real, and it attracted our attention. We ran the full inspection protocol. We ran a moisture meter across the entire hull bottom. Every reading came back below 8%, confirmed dry throughout. We percussion tested the deck surfaces. The response was solid and consistent across every panel. No soft spots, no delamination indicators. Viking builds every hull using a vacuum-infused resin process in which fiberglass fabrics and core materials are sealed in a vacuum bag and resin is pulled through under negative pressure, eliminating the air voids that hand lamination produces when quality control varies. The result is a hull with a higher fiber to resin ratio than wet lamination can achieve, which means more structural material and less dead weight per inch of laminate. Marine surveyor David Pascoe, who conducted over 5,000 pre-purchase surveys across his career, reviewed a Viking of this era and documented that every accessible structural space was finished and organized, with every wiring run labeled and every system accessible, something he explicitly noted as rare in production boat building. What we found confirmed that. Engine room, clean painted bilge surfaces, every hose double clamped and labeled, no unprotected wiring runs in moisture exposed locations. The hull to deck joint on Viking's 52-foot platform is through bolted with marine adhesive at the full perimeter. The stringers are steel reinforced to maintain engine alignment under offshore loading. Viking builds over 90% of each boat in-house, a vertical integration level that almost no other production builder in this size class matches, and that directly controls the quality consistency across every system. The only finding of note was minor cosmetic crazing on the hull side above the waterline, consistent with UV exposure over 5 years and requiring no structural intervention. Everything else was exactly what the construction methodology promises. The inspection protocol before any yacht purchase at this size is non-negotiable. Have the vessel hauled, never buy a yacht you have not inspected out of the water. Run a moisture meter across the full hull bottom, hull sides, and deck surfaces around every through-deck fitting and hardware base. Anything above 12% warrants a certified marine surveyor before the offer advances. Perform percussion testing on all core deck surfaces by tapping adjacent points and listening for the change from sharp to dull that signals core saturation or delamination. Pull every accessible bilge panel before the walkaround ends. Look at the wiring. Labeled runs with proper conduit tell you about the builder's intent. Unlabeled, unprotected runs tell you about the shortcuts taken where no buyer ever looks. Check raw water strainers on every engine. Their condition is a reliable proxy for how every maintenance item was treated. Ask whether the vessel was wet slipped or dry stored and for how much of its life. Get a compression test on every engine regardless of hours. 2 out of 3 of the yachts we opened had problems invisible on a standard walkaround. One was exactly what every used listing claims to be and almost never is. At current pricing, the spread between the yacht built right and the ones that were not is the narrowest it has been in years. The cost of finding out after the purchase is one you do not want to calculate.